Hello internet world, we are just preparing for the live broadcast where I'm going to be reviewing the Moto Z2 Play smartphone, very kindly sent out to me by Vodafone UK. Now throughout the review I will be taking questions in the chat, so please do leave some questions there. And I think it's time to get started. Before we kick off with the review good and proper of the Moto Z2 Play, which is here on my desk along with the Moto mods, I just want to say a big hello to you all. Thank you for tuning in for the live broadcast. If you hear some little sort of noises in the audio, that's because I am sucking one of these new sweets. These are Ricolas. Now I've been suffering of late, probably because I've been doing a lot more live broadcasts, of a very sore throat. So somebody suggested to me to try these. These are Smooth Honey Herb Swiss herbal sweets. They're meant to be sugar free and kind to the teeth. So I thought I'd try these. So if any of you suffer from a sore throat and want some sort of semi-natural remedy, then these are well worth checking out. They taste really nice as well, a little bit addictive actually. But if you do hear anything a little bit strange in the audio, it's because I'm sucking a sweet. Try and keep my voice nice and smooth for you throughout this video broadcast. So let's move straight into the Moto Z2 Play. Actually, before I get into the review good and proper, I'll just mention to you that the live chat is there. I will be taking questions in a little while after I've covered the main sort of topics I want to talk to you about, and I will also be taking questions, and if you want to use the super chat feature, then that is there as well. That gets your question or comment highlighted and also helps support the channel as well. So anyway, this is the Moto Z2 Play. A big thank you must go out to Vodafone UK for making this video possible. They sent me this out for a loan period so that I could get used to using the phone, experience all the features, and I must say, for the price point, wow, I am very impressed so far. Let's cover off the build quality first. I think the build quality is very good for this price point. On the back at the moment I've got one of the Moto mods. I'll show you a couple of others during this video. And it's just a really nice slim smartphone. Very nice indeed. It feels comfortable to hold, not too large, not too small. Nice sort of thin bezels on the sides. It's not bezel-less by any means, but nice slim bezels on the sides. Top and bottom we have got some bezels there for the speaker, front facing camera and flash, and also the fingerprint sensor down the bottom. Now the fingerprint sensor, very fast. Not the fastest I've used, but it's proved very reliable and I've had no problems at all using that fingerprint sensor. And all of the fit and finish on the device feels really good. Even though we've got this sort of camera sort of bump on the back, I can forgive it that, because once you put a Moto mod on, be it just one of these slimline sort of covers or indeed one of the other ones, that more or less disappears. And overall I'm just really happy with how this works. The mods, so this particular mod, this is just a slim sort of cover, they move a tiny bit. There's like a locator pin. If you just look on there is a locator pin just in the center there, and that helps to align and locate the mod in place, as well as obviously the aperture that's cut out for the camera. But overall it's just a really nice looking phone. The screen as well is an AMOLED screen. It's full HD and I think it looks nice and bright, very evenly lit, cool tone to it, slightly on the blue side, but really nice for viewing back the photos that you've taken, videos, and an overall really nice screen experience. So before I move on to how I've been finding the Moto Z2 Play, let's talk about Moto mods. Now if I take this one off, show you the back of the phone, you'll see a series of connectors along here I'm not sure if this is coming into focus for you, but there are a series of connectors along the bottom edge, and on those connectors is where the connectors on the Moto mod line up and attach. So that's really cool. I do like that a lot. The locator pin is right in the center, so we've got that locator pin as well. And the mods that I've got sent was this thin one. This is just like a cover. This is a plain black cover. You can get ones with sort of patterns on and designs, but there's that plain cover there. I also got sent this one, which is a 360 camera, and again this snaps onto the back. I've used this a little bit, not really into 360 video myself, but it seemed to work extremely well. I did post a photo of this in use on my Instagram profile. You can find me on Instagram by searching Geekanoids. This just works very well, so if you're into 360 video or photos, then that's well worth checking out. And then the last one, the one I'm most impressed with, is this, the JBL Sound Boost 2. And this just snaps on as with all the others. So you've got the Moto mod, snaps into place, and this gives you a really good sound. So this has got speakers in the back. It's also got a kickstand, so you can set this down, watch a video back or listen to music. Really rich sound with a really good bass extension as well. So I've been very impressed with the Moto mods. Oh, and this one also has its own battery inside. Doesn't charge the phone, but it doesn't take power away from the phone either. So really pleased with how these Moto mods work. Let me just pop this one back on. This is just the cover one back on. So you've got that sort of extended functionality, and there are a lot more Moto mods than I've shown you there. There are there's a Hasselblad camera, there's a battery boost pack, just loads of accessories that can further enhance your experience with the Moto Z2 Play. And any of the Moto mod phones, so other phones in the range, also work with those Moto mods as well. Very cool. So let me talk about my experience with this so far. First of all, battery life. People always ask me about battery life. They fit a nice large battery in a super thin phone, easily a full day of use. I've been doing a lot of testing on this, and from sort of 6 AM in the morning till round about 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock at night, I've still got round about 40% battery life left. That is very impressive. So really good battery life. The speaker, more than acceptable. When you put the JBL Sound Boost 2 on, obviously it improves it a great deal, but without that on, still really nice experience. The camera, we'll come on to the camera in a short while. Let's just take a look at the chat and see if we've got any questions in about the Z2 Play. So we have got Aaron in the live broadcast. We've also got Peter. Hello Peter. We've got Matthew, Rusby, Jose Garcia, and hi to Jose. Hi, really nice of you to tune in. That is really nice of you. Rusby says too many companies are jumping on the bezel-less design, even when the bezels aren't that thin at the sides. I tend to agree, and I'll tell you something, I like having bezels. If you've got bezels right up to the edge, sometimes you get accidental input. If you're holding the phone like this and your finger accidentally touches the screen, you're going to get a non-responsive experience on what you're trying to touch. And also having top and bottom bezels gives you something to hold on to. So if you're watching back a video, you can still hold on to it again without accidental input into the screen. And so I don't mind there being bezels there on a smartphone. Very good point. Now let's talk a little bit about the camera performance. Let me get up some of the photos that I've been taking. Here we go. We've got some video. We've also got some photos here as well. So this is one of the photos I took, and I really like how that looks. This was a photo I took in Canterbury. I also posted this on Twitter. Colour rendition, really good. And actually, as well as the camera performing well, you've got a really nice screen to review the photos back on. Let me show you another one, because that one was a bit processed. I think that was a Google Photos processed version. This is the non-processed version, and I think that looks really good indeed. Let me just give you a look at that. I think that's a really good photo. Really natural colours. not too punchy, looks accurate to what I was seeing with my eye, and I think the tonal quality is good. The highlights in the sky a little tiny bit blown out, but not too bad at all. Let me show you one more. This was taken in the studio with not optimal lighting, so let me show you that one. You can see really nice rich colours in that, and this retro style phone I've got in the studio really is that colour yellow, sort of a mustardy punchy yellow, and just an overall good experience. Now if I was going to say something negative about the camera, that would be that it's a little tiny bit slow in reacting to you taking the photo, so not super fast, and in low light, that's where this camera doesn't excel. In daylight, or if I've got my studio lights on like I have in the editing room today, really good performance. Low light, it tends to get a little bit grainy, a little bit slower to focus, but overall as a whole package, a good performing camera. With regard to video capture, I was surprised because this phone comes in, I think it's £379 in the UK, and that's for a SIM-free unlocked version. And I was surprised that this actually records in 4K, so 4K video, 30 frames per second. That is amazing for a phone at this price point. And what's also amazing is the quality. I actually recorded a video of this, I popped it onto a tripod in the editing room, talked to you a little bit about the Moto mods. I published that to the Geekanoids channel, so please do check that out. And the 4K video quality was really impressive. Minimal noise in the darker areas, good sort of tonal quality again. The audio wasn't the best, but what you've got to appreciate in that video that I published of the 4K video sample from this phone is that the phone was sitting probably round about 3 to 4 feet away from me. And phones like this, the microphones are a little bit less sensitive to sounds further away. If I'd been holding the phone maybe at arm's length with my arms slightly bent, so round about sort of 1.5 foot, 2 foot away, then the audio would have been a lot better. But it wasn't bad, it was just a little tiny bit lacking. The microphone pickup wasn't optimised for picking up audio at a distance. But the actual 4K video quality, the visual experience, really very good indeed. Now before I jump back into the questions, one more thing I want to talk to you about. Let me just launch this game. I know it's not the most graphic intensive game. This is Talking Tom Gold Run. And the reason I wanted to mention this is I also have this on my iPhone 7 Plus. And on the iPhone 7 Plus, there are glitches, there are frame drops. Let me just tap go and you'll just see a little bit of the graphics running on that. It's just a very simple game. As I was saying, on the iPhone 7 Plus, glitches, frame drops, delays in buttons being pushed. If I was to push a button and an advert would come up and then I'd push again to get rid of the advert, there would all be delays on the iPhone. On this, and this is a medium spec phone, no problems at all. Runs very smooth and it's extremely noticeable. This in comparison to the iPhone 7 Plus running exactly the same game, this is a much better experience. So we've covered quite a few things so far. Let me just go back to the home screen. So let me take a look at the questions, and then if we've got anything we haven't covered, we will jump back into a little bit more opinion on the Moto Z2 Play. So we've got James Ag saying, agreed, if you're a gamer, the bezels make gaming easy. Absolutely, spot on. Bezels on a smartphone really do make that gaming experience a lot easier as well. George Lewis says, have I tried the original Z Play? If so, how do they compare? I did try the original Z Play, but that was a long time ago. And I honestly can't remember. I couldn't give you an honest answer. I would assume the performance has obviously improved. Not sure about the screen quality. I really couldn't comment on that because it was far too long ago. Danny Johnson, hello to you Danny, thanks for tuning in. Hi Dave, how is the front facing camera? The front facing camera is very good indeed. Let me just take a quick photo with it and we will show you this. So let's switch this round. So we're now on front facing camera. We will say cheese and take the photo, and then let's swipe across and show you how this looks. That is good. The colours may look to you a little bit muted, but to me they look very, very accurate indeed. I'm really pleased with how this front facing camera performs. I haven't used it a lot. I've used it for about, say, half a dozen photos. Each time it gets to focus quick, it snaps onto focus nice and quickly, and I think overall really good experience. Again, not the best front facing camera I've used on a smartphone, but more than acceptable for this price point. The rear facing camera, much better performer, much better performer. But for the occasional selfie, it works absolutely fine. Hello to Yui Kinkmuller. Thank you very much for joining in to the live stream. Len Churn says no mobile phone should cost more than £500. We have seen this trend, especially in 2017, of smartphone prices creeping up to a higher and higher price point. A lot of them are £800 and above, and some, as we know, with the iPhone 10 are creeping above £1,000, and that is a lot to pay. Some people are comfortable paying a premium price for their smartphones, because if you're like me, I use my smartphone for many hours a day. It allows me to do broadcasting to YouTube, it allows me to record the occasional video, it allows me to take photos, do Instagram, social networking, emails. It's a real business tool to me. It's a little mini computer in my pocket. So paying that premium price, it is expensive, and I do tend to agree it'd be nice if all of these phones dropped down in price and we got the quality for under £500, but that's a natural progression of technology. As more and more features are added into these flagship models, in a year or 2 years time they drop down and are available in the lower price models. So there will always be premium flagship prices for premium flagship devices, but you can get really good value for money, and this is a good example of amazing value for money because the performance is good. I've had no noticeable lag on this at all. Using numerous apps, browsing the internet, switching between them, multitasking, this hasn't slowed down, and I can honestly say I haven't seen any glitches either, which I'm quite surprised. I was not expecting a smoother experience as I have with the Moto Z2 Play. So back to the chat. Russ B, are you getting in any of the new Chinese phones for review? The Doogie Mix 2 or the Umi Digi S2? I hope to get the Mix 2 in. I have got a contact at the company. I have covered a lot of their products before, so I hope I will be able to cover that one. With regards to Umi, I would love to cover it, of course. I have got a contact there as well. They're a little bit slower to respond, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to bring you reviews of both of those. Believe me, I have reached out to them. Now, just to mention, I do reach out to a lot of companies for review product. Not all of them actually send in product to review. I have had a lot of you ask for me to cover either the Note 8 from Samsung or the iPhone 10. I have got a GoFundMe campaign running, and I've got one contributor. Thank you very much, Danny, for your contribution to the fund. I really need to get one of these in. I can't afford to buy them all myself. If you can support there, I've just put a link in the chat, so please do check that out. George Lewis asks, would the performance of the Z2 Play be adequate for you to use every day? Absolutely. Absolutely. If I was not getting in the Google Pixel 2 or the Pixel 2 XL, with the potential becoming my daily driver, and my budget was under £500, this coming in at under £400, then the Z2 Play would be more than adequate. Absolutely. I have got no doubt in that statement at all. It's been an absolutely great performer. I think so. The performance is fine. I think if you really pressed me and said, could you live with this as your daily driver, I would definitely be able to. But the only thing, and I say the only thing, is the low light capability on the camera. Because for me, when I'm researching what I'm going to use as my daily driver, so my everyday smartphone, the camera is very, very important to me. So if in the next iteration Lenovo could improve the low light capability a bit, then I wouldn't have any doubt at all in this becoming my daily driver. But for the most part, if you don't take photos at night time, this is an excellent choice. And what a price, £379. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Anthony Kelly says, I have the original Z Play and can say it's a wonderful device, especially the battery life. Near stock Android, and that's why it runs so smoothly. Great comment, Anthony. That is a very, very good thing to hear. And good to hear that the battery life's still holding up on a year-old device. And that's one of the things that's really impressed me with this, is the battery life's absolutely amazing. And even when you do run low on battery, it charges so quickly via the USB-C on the bottom that you're back up and running in a matter of sort of 30 minutes. I think you get about 40 or 50% charge in 30 minutes, which is absolutely awesome. So anyway, in closing, I can highly recommend this. If your budget is under £400 and you're looking for a really good smartphone with a great AMOLED screen, amazing battery life, really good experience overall, and great performance, a near stock Android experience, as Anthony says, then the Moto Z2 Play is a great choice. And I'll tell you something else, as well as you getting that great value, really good build quality, don't forget the Moto mods that I talked to you about earlier. Things like this speaker. So if after 2-3 months you want to sort of boost your experience with this and add on an accessory, then you could get something like the JBL Boost 2. You could also get a 360 camera. You can get an extended battery life if you really need to. Say you're going away on holiday and you want to extend that battery life whilst you're on holiday, get the battery boost Moto mod. And if you're really into photography, I mentioned the low light performance not being stellar on this. If you are really into your photography, there's a Hasselblad Moto mod, which gives you optical zoom, really good optics, and will really make the photo possibilities with this absolutely excel. So there's all those options for you as well. So let's see if there's any more questions before I wrap things up. Danny Johnson, what do you feel is the biggest drawback in your opinion on the Moto? As I mentioned, the only real drawback is the low light capability of the camera. Russ B, I just ordered the Lenovo P2, a bit older phone, but still good specs, and a 5100 mAh battery. That's amazing for £157. George Lewis says, what sort of screen on time are you getting with the Z2 Play? I must admit I haven't checked that, because the overall battery life experience gets me through the whole day. I would imagine it's probably going to be, this is just a guess, but between 3 and 4 hours of screen on time. And that is purely a guess, because I didn't really delve into that setting. All I'm worried about is if I'm extensively testing a phone, and this is getting a lot more use than it would do if it became my daily driver, because the use would sort of dip down a little bit. But I've been constantly testing this, testing the camera, recording videos, taking photos, swiping, testing the multitasking, browsing, etc. And it still manages to get me through a whole day with about 30 to 40% battery life at the end of the day. And that's no mean feat. So battery life is definitely very, very good on this. So anyway, that's it for the review. Thank you very much for tuning in. I like doing these reviews live purely because I get some feedback and questions from you guys in the chat, which is really good. Makes these videos nice and interactive. In closing, don't forget that GoFundMe campaign. If you can support, I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to tune in for future videos. You watching these videos is support enough. I really do appreciate you watching, subscribing and hitting the like button. Have a great day wherever you are. I really do appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.